What if I told you that most of what you believe today, especially after the age of 35, is actually holding you back? It may sound ridiculous, but this is precisely what Napoleon Hill demonstrated throughout his life and teachings. If until now you have trusted in stability, in security, and in avoiding risks, get ready, because the law of attraction will shatter those beliefs and rebuild your life from the ground up. Take a moment to think. How many times have you caught yourself living just to pay the bills, working hard, chasing after goals, but deep down, unsure of the true destination you want to reach? It's like getting in a car, turning on the engine and driving aimlessly, hoping by luck to arrive somewhere good. Does that sound logical? Of course not. Yet that's exactly how most people approach life. That's why so many people, even after the age of 35, feel stuck, going in circles without making real progress. Napoleon Hill said that success doesn't come to those who merely wish for it, but to those who know what they want. Knowing what you want is like having a detailed map. When you have clarity, even the smallest daily decisions change. Science backs this up. Studies show that people who write down their goals specifically have up to 42% greater chances of achieving them. Sounds too simple, but it's precisely this simplicity that brings transformation. Now tell me, what is your real goal, the one that gives you butterflies just thinking about it? Saying I want to be happy or I want to make more money doesn't work. Those are too vague. The brain doesn't function with foggy ideas. You must be specific. I want to increase my income by 200,000 Brazilian reais this year. I want to build a business that allows me to travel 3 times annually with my family. Or, I want to wake up every day proud of the work I do. The clearer your goal, the more your brain starts searching for ways to make it real. This is exactly what Napoleon Hill experienced himself. When he was young, he was invited to interview some of the greatest names of his time. Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men in the world, challenged him to investigate why some people prosper while others fail. Imagine the scene. A young man with no resources standing before one of capitalism's giants, tasked with dedicating 20 years of his life to this study. He had no idea how he would accomplish it, but he accepted. That decision, that clarity of purpose, completely changed his path. And this is where you come in. How many opportunities have passed you by because you lacked clarity about what you wanted? How many times have you said no to something that could have been a turning point simply because you had no defined destination? Now I want to propose a pattern break. Close your eyes for 10 seconds. Imagine today is the last day of the year and you are celebrating your greatest achievement. What is it? Visualize the details, where you are, who is with you, what you feel. This is no joke, it's mental training. If you can't see your goal, how do you expect to reach it? And thinking alone isn't enough. Write it down. Take a piece of paper and describe your goal in detail, like an engineering project. This is your blueprint. When it's on paper, your brain treats it as something concrete. And more than that, commit. Because wanting changes nothing, but deciding changes everything. It is the act of deciding that sets things in motion. Many stop right at this point. They want and dream but fail to fully commit. Fear of failure holds them back. Have you ever thought, what if I try and it doesn't work out? But what if you never try and spend the rest of your life wondering how it could have been? Loss aversion, proven by psychological research, makes us fear losing what we have more than we desire gaining something new. And it is exactly this trap you must break free from. So here is the challenge. Within the next 72 hours, write down 3 clear and specific goals for your life over the next 12 months. Set deadlines, amounts, and dates. Then take the first step towards one of them, even if it is a small one. It can be a phone call, research, or enrolling in a course. This first move is proof to yourself that you truly decided. Remember, success does not come to those who sit and wait. It comes to those who know exactly where they want to go and start walking, even if the first step is uncertain. Clarity is not just the beginning of the law of attraction. It is the fuel that will stop you from wandering in circles and finally lead you toward what you have always desired. Have you noticed that often it is not effort that you lack, but belief that you deserve to reap the rewards of your effort? Think about this. How many times have you worked harder than you should, dedicated yourself, gone beyond what was asked, yet at the critical moment, you froze? It seems there is a voice inside saying, "This is not for you. You are not ready. You do not deserve it." The worst part is, if this voice repeats over the years, it becomes a pattern. The truth is, we do not receive what we want, but what we believe. The human brain works like a filter. If deep down you believe you are not worthy of success, you will unconsciously sabotage any progress. This could be through procrastination, accepting less than you deserve, or giving up just when you are one step from turning things around. This happens more often than you imagine. Psychological studies show that people with low self-image, even when talented and prepared, perform worse than less qualified but more confident individuals. This is the famous Pygmalion effect. When you believe you can, your mind finds ways. When you believe you cannot, it creates barriers. Look at stories like Oprah Winfrey's. Born into extreme poverty and abused in childhood, she had every reason to believe she would never leave that place. But transformation happened when she changed her belief about herself. She decided she was worthy of something greater, and this decision shaped her entire journey, leading her to become one of the most influential women on the planet. Now, if someone in such circumstances managed to change their belief, what stops you from doing the same? On the other hand, think about how many extraordinarily talented people got lost along the way. How many incredible singers have you heard in bars or small events who never recorded an album? How many of your colleagues with brilliant ideas never dared to put them into practice because they believed they were not good enough? They did not fail due to lack of ability, but because they failed to overcome their inner doubts and fears that held them back from truly committing to their dreams. They failed because they never truly believed in themselves. Maybe you recognize this in your own life. Perhaps you are stuck hearing phrases you've known all your life. Money doesn't grow on trees, those born poor die poor, or better to have little and be safe than risk losing everything. How many of these sayings still live in your mind? And more importantly, how long will you let these beliefs control your life? From now on, every time that inner voice says, "You are not capable," change the script. Replace it with, "I am constantly growing and my success is inevitable." It may feel strange at first, but this is mental reprogramming. You don't need to believe it 100% right away. You only need to repeat it until your mind accepts it as truth. And when that happens, you will notice how you begin to see opportunities that were previously overlooked. Try a simple exercise. Every morning, look in the mirror and firmly say 3 affirmations about yourself. Not generic phrases like "I am happy," but powerful affirmations. "I deserve prosperity." "I am capable of achieving what I desire." "Success is on my path." It is like training at the gym, but for your brain. Over time, your mind stops doubting and starts acting according to this new identity. Deep down, the question remains, are you living according to what you want or according to what you believe you deserve? Because if you do not change that belief, no matter how hard you try, you will always sabotage yourself in the end. But if you change it, if you truly believe you are worthy, everything around you starts to align. After all, you don't get what you want, you get what you believe. How many times have you woken up, had coffee, went to work, returned home, and suddenly another whole day has passed without anything new? This automatic routine swallows most people after the age of 35. It feels like life is just repetition, an endless cycle of bills, duties, and small distractions. But there is a detail few notice. If you don't create new images in your mind, it will keep repeating the same reality of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Visualizing is much more than daydreaming. It is programming your mind to accept a new reality even before it exists. Think about high-performance athletes. They don't just train physically. They imagine themselves winning. They taste victory before the competition even begins. The brain cannot distinguish reality from imagination when felt intensely. If you visualize vividly, it creates new neural connections, preparing your body and mind to act as if it were already true. Napoleon Hill experienced this power during critical moments of his life. During the Great Depression, he was broke, desperate, and almost ready to give up. Yet even then, he visualized himself speaking to crowds, being heard and inspiring people. Years later, that vision became reality when he was invited to work alongside Franklin Roosevelt. One of his speeches even inspired the famous phrase, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." Do you realize the power of that? What he saw in his mind amidst the darkness materialized on the stage of history. Try this. Tomorrow morning, before leaving your house, close your eyes for 2 minutes. Imagine the future you desire as if it has already come to pass. If financial freedom is your goal, picture your bank statement showing the exact amount you wish to have. If health is what you seek, envision yourself climbing stairs without tiring, playing sports, full of energy. Feel the emotions as if they were real: joy, gratitude, and confidence. When you finish, ask yourself, what small step can I take today to move closer to this vision? Because visualization without action is merely fantasy. But visualization combined with action is like drawing the blueprint of a house and then laying each brick one by one. Do not be fooled. At first, it might feel strange, almost like playing make-believe. However, with repetition, it becomes natural. And when it becomes natural, your mind begins to believe. When your mind believes, your body and behavior follow the same flow. That is when doors open. The right people appear and opportunities arise where before there were only obstacles. Have you noticed how most people keep pointing fingers at what they lack? If I had more clients, if my boss recognized me, if I earned more. This constant thinking attracts more scarcity. Gratitude, contrary to what many believe, is not pretending everything is fine. It is an active practice that changes the fuel you put in the engine of your life. When you start appreciating what you have, even if it is little, something unusual begins to happen. Your decisions become calmer, your eyes see solutions instead of barriers, and financial choices shift from panic to strategy. Think about your finances right now. What is the first thought that comes to your mind when you open your bank statement? Fear, shame, denial? These automatic reactions generate adrenaline and impulsive responses. Impulse purchases, desperate decisions, or simply freezing and doing nothing. Now imagine replacing that first thought with, I am grateful to have the means to handle this. The next step is, it is not magic. It is an immediate redirection of your emotional state. And when your emotion changes, your decisions follow suit. Science behind this is clear. Regular practice of gratitude rewires the brain's focus. Instead of amplifying risks and scarcity, it strengthens circuits that detect resources, opportunities, and partnerships. People who engage in simple gratitude exercises report less stress, better sleep, and greater clarity to make rational, not impulsive, financial decisions. Gratitude is not just being nice. It is a practical tool to stop making poor choices when your heart races. Now let's get practical. How can you apply this in your life? First exercise. Every morning before checking messages, write down 3 specific things you are grateful for related to money or your ability to create value. Do not write vague gratitude for money. Write, I am grateful to have received the payment of amount spelled out this month. I am grateful for the skill I have to solve specific problem. I am grateful for learning specific skill that helps me earn. By anchoring your gratitude in real evidence, you train your mind to see practical abundance, not illusions. Whenever you feel the cold grip of financial fear, that urge to close your eyes and hope it passes, stop and ask yourself 3 quick questions. What do I currently have that guarantees me the basics? What actions can I take in the next 24 hours? Who can assist me with a practical step? These questions turn anxiety into action and gratitude into a plan. Instead of thinking, what if I lose everything? Change your mindset to what do I already have today that I can use? This small shift in internal dialogue prevents panic-driven decisions. Use gratitude as a filter for spending. Before making an impulsive purchase, ask yourself, will I be grateful for this in 30 days? If the answer is no, hold back. Gratitude encourages the mind to choose with a longer-term perspective, offering more emotional and financial return. This is the exact opposite of compulsive consumption, which usually comes from emptiness, not necessity. I want to share something real. Napoleon Hill did not leave the idea of giving before receiving just as words on paper. After years of consulting and writing, he realized that contributing, sharing ideas, and helping people solve problems often returned in concrete forms: invitations, partnerships, readers, speaking opportunities. It was not luck. It was a verifiable pattern. Those who genuinely add value build a reputation that becomes leverage. Hill turned this observation into a practical rule: contribute first. For your finances, this means offering service, exchanging value, and building trust. Over time, this creates sustainable income. Now, to create an emotional impact different from what you may have heard before, remember a time when someone thanked you for something simple, a favor, advice, or a kind word. You likely felt warmth in your chest, maybe even your eyes welled up. Gratitude triggers this reaction. If you start to cultivate this deliberately, your financial life can awaken that same feeling, which will help you avoid decisions you might regret later. This is the emotion I want you to pursue, not the anxiety of a bank statement, but the warmth of knowing you are slowly creating something solid. And here is a painful contrast. Think of public figures who lost fortunes or reputations by living in constant consumption, spending as if abundance were endless. People who, when tides turned, had no emotional foundation or habit of gratitude to keep them humble and prudent. Cases of public bankruptcy show the same pattern. Lack of gratitude and emotional responsibility facilitates the exhaustion of what one has. This is not a moral judgment, but a practical warning. Without gratitude, care, and recognizing limits, prosperity is fragile. Ready for a challenge that truly changes behavior? Take the 14-day Financial Gratitude Challenge. Every morning, for 14 days, write down 3 specific things related to your money or your ability to create value. At night, record a small financial victory: money received, expense avoided, or a productive conversation. On day 7, review your notes and adjust a spending habit. On day 14, compare how you felt when you first opened your bank statement versus day 14. Most people report less panic, more clarity, and often more conscious spending decisions. This happens because the practice transforms perception that guides action. 3 minutes before going to bed, 3 key attitudes to adopt when feeling fear. Simple, brief, and easy to repeat. And remember, gratitude doesn't erase problems. It places your problems in the right perspective so you can act with a calm mind. Ask yourself now, would you rather keep reacting impulsively or train a mental muscle that helps you make better choices, save wisely, and invest courageously? How many times have you told yourself, "It's not the right time yet"? This phrase traps thousands of people. They spend years waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect condition, the perfect idea. And what happens? Nothing. Life moves on, opportunities pass by, and frustration grows. The big mistake is believing that the law of attraction works only in the mental realm, as if just wishing would make everything come true. That's not how it works. Thinking is only the beginning. What really drives change is inspired action. I want you to reflect on your own life now. How many ideas have you had that could have changed your future if you had put them into practice? How many times did you say, "One day I will," and that day never came? What if you had taken just one step when that opportunity showed up? Where would you be now? These are tough questions, but necessary ones. Inspired action also requires courage to face uncertainty. It doesn't mean acting impulsively, but acting in alignment with what you have already envisioned and set as your goal. It's as if each action sends a message to the universe: I am ready. From there, circumstances begin to align. People appear, resources show up, doors open. But none of this happens if you stay still, waiting for everything to fall from the sky. Try this practical exercise. Choose a goal you have been postponing and ask yourself, what is the smallest step I can take in the next 24 hours to get closer to it? Maybe it's sending an email, doing research, scheduling a meeting, or even organizing your finances. It doesn't need to be huge, it just needs to be real. That step, no matter how small, breaks inertia. Breaking inertia is what separates dreamers from achievers. Here's the challenge. Choose an inspired action and commit to doing it every day for 7 days. It doesn't need to be big, but it must be consistent. After 1 week, notice how your energy changes. You will find yourself moving faster, thinking more clearly, and feeling more confident. This proves that action generates action. It's like pushing a parked car. It takes strength at first, but once it gains momentum, it almost moves on its own. The truth is simple. The universe responds to movement. If you keep waiting for the perfect condition, you will become an expert in waiting. But if you act, even imperfectly, you prove to yourself that you are capable of creating. This is when the law of attraction stops being just a theory and becomes a tangible reality in your life. Nothing changes without clarity and action. Simply wishing, believing, or visualizing is not enough if you don't take the step that shows your commitment. It is in this movement that the law of attraction stops being a pretty idea and becomes a real force in your life. Since you've come this far, don't stop now. Keep going and climb another step on this ladder of wisdom. The next video that's appearing on the screen will help you become 1% better than you are now. Thank you for being with me today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.